that rain starting to come into the area. In fact, if I go back quickly to that camera, we can take a look. Still hard to see. You can't see much more than a couple of 10, 20 feet with the camera. We're probably also up in the clouds as well, but we saw quite a bit of lightning with it, and the wind certainly picked up as this line approached that area. So again, that camera up through here, right about through there near Valley View. It's looking back into it. So the strongest winds are pretty much making its way there now to where our camera is. But anywhere ahead of this, Alder, Belmont, even towards Lick Skillet here in Union County, heads up, Braden, Dykes, down through Paulette, Maynardville. This is Norris Lake, kind of the central sections of it. So these strong winds are certainly pushing in that direction. Put a quick track on this for you, just kind of give you an idea of some of these communities which could be next. I'd say the strongest winds are right through there. So White Hollow 809, Welch Crossroad 814, the Dykes community 815, same thing with Raccoon Valley and Oak Grove. So really anywhere through here, let's just go ahead and get in your safe area. Damaging winds will be the biggest concern with this whole line as that starts to push through the area. That's really where some of the strongest winds have been, but we've been watching this system down into Monroe County, maybe some very broad rotation east of Madisonville, near Von Orr Elementary, just south of that, heads up Mount Zion. So let's track this. This is moving east at about 35. They kind of extended the warning here, but I want to keep a close eye on that area right through there, kind of the backside between Madisonville and Riverside. Looks like there may be some very broad rotation with that, very broad, but worth watching. I would say heads up minimum, you're going to see some really strong winds. Howard at 802, Pumpkin Center 809, Tallahassee at 812, and Lanier Elementary at 813. So Margot, I'm going to keep a close eye on this. What else are you seeing across the area?
Just kind of in the same area, I just wanted to point out that not only are we seeing kind of that very broad rotation, but we're also still seeing very heavy rain. And during the 4 o'clock, I remember Von Orr Elementary School, just because I was really excited that I pronounced it right. This area has already seen a lot of rain overhead. So that's definitely going to lead to some localized flooding in some areas. But again, as Ken mentioned, in between that kind of Madisonville area and that Hopewell Mill area, we're watching that broad rotation. And again, we live in the South. You know, whenever we do have those kind of spin up tornadoes, it's very hard to see those tornadoes, especially because they will be rain wrapped. So don't try and go see it. Go ahead and get in your safe place, especially if you're in that Madisonville area. Again, tracking all these storms kind of at once. We have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings in the area. This again includes Union County, kind of closer towards the La Follette area, saw that very heavy rain. And again, kind of closer towards the McMinn, Monroe County, going on into Blount County. Now this warning has been again extended until 8:45, so we have about 45 minutes left on this warning, and this line is trekking along. It's going pretty quickly. So again, make sure if you are under these warnings, you're getting to your safe place, kind of keeping an eye on all of these areas right now, especially because we again had that one tornado warning in the area that did pop up. But again, we're going to keep an eye on everything. Haven't seen any messages about the National Weather Service being too concerned about it. But again, we're going to still keep an eye on everything. I'm going to send it back over to Ken, who's got that rotation tracker up. Yeah, keeping a close eye again. This is that one that's making its way out of Monroe County, working its way towards Blount County now, and that's where the warning, the latest warning, that goes until 8:45. So let me put a pause on this for you. Till 8:45, so Blount County, eastern sections of Monroe County as well. And it's right through here where we're seeing at least the possibility of some very broad rotation with this system. Right through there, very broad, but definitely worth watching right through there. It's kind of, it's that same area we were watching just a few minutes ago, but I'm just going to keep a track on this so we're paying attention to these communities. I want to make sure you're in your safe area, again, just to be safe. I did get a report from Facebook, a storm further to the south near Bradley County. A tornado actually did touch down, getting some reports of some damage there. It's not with these cells, it's further to the south, but it just shows you that along that line, there's at least the potential that we could see the quick little rotating spin-ups like we've seen, possibly back towards Cumberland County. We didn't have any reports of damage there yet, thankfully, but again, down into
Bradley County, Bradley Square Mall, if you know where that is, just outside of Chattanooga. Got a report there. So this is the area we're watching east of Madisonville, south of Vonore, near the Howard area. And then we're talking right along the border between Monroe and Blount County. That's what the squiggly black line is right here. So that would bring up Chota, Chilhowie, and Calderwood next. This warning again goes until 8:45. So a new track just got put on that. So let's take a look, see if it's seeing anything different than I am. No, moving east at 24, but still of a concern, I would say. So Riverside 805 also looks like we're going to be talking about 3 Points 807, Citgo Beach 822, Pumpkin Center at 826, and Tallahassee at 829. So again, maybe some broad rotation with that, but there's enough that just has our attention that we want to keep an eye on it, and you can see it right through there. I'll get a little bit closer look here. So it's between Acorn, Tariffville, there's Citico Beach, if you're familiar with that area, and it's right through there, right? That kind of light shaded of green. We're starting to get towards maybe a little bit tighter rotation with this, so just something to keep an eye on. Let's go a little bit further out. That's the one that's really kind of catching my attention, Margot, is right through there. Areas to the north I didn't see as much. That's going to be right along that Boeing segment. That's still going to be some really strong winds right through there, and that's what we're seeing. So again, we talked about Union County. Heads up, definitely some strong winds bowing out right along that line. So as we get a little bit closer, these are the western shores of Norris Lake. The Alder community, there's La Follette Middle. Heads up Braden, Dykes, Irwin, all the way towards Big Ridge in the New Lewiston area. You're going to have some really gusty winds kind of bowing out and pushing in this direction over the next 15, 20 minutes or so. And this warning goes until 8:30, so a couple more minutes at least if they don't extend that. But this has kind of had that history over the past, say, 45 minutes to an hour of just bowing out and producing those really potentially strong winds. I want to look real quick at the camera. I'm sure we can't see much at McLeod Mountain, still obscured by the heavy rainfall that we have moving through. But I also hear the rain over our roof right now as that heavy rain's making its way into downtown Knoxville. These aren't severe warned, just heavy rainfall. Same thing into Blount County, and again, improving now Tellico Village at Tenasseee Cove. Margot, anything you're seeing as well?
Just want to give a kind of update because you didn't mention there was that possibility of that touchdown in Bradley County.
Yeah.
Right now they're having trouble confirming. They talked to dispatch, but again, as we've mentioned before, with these storms moving through, a quick spin up cannot be ruled out. So that's why we're telling you to get in your safe space, even though these are just severe thunderstorm warnings. Debris can be kicked up anywhere. I mean, we're seeing right now along that kind of line, kind of near Bryceville, just west of Clinton, 38 miles per hour, 36 miles per hour, very gusty winds. Kind of watching that broad rotation, that's catching my eyes. I know it's really broad, Ken, but that's kind of near the Dossett area, just east of Oliver Springs. So another area that we're going to keep a very close eye on. This is that same storm that did produce that tornado warning in Cumberland County. This storm has trekked east, now moving on in towards kind of Clinton, again, Dossett as well. But we are going to keep watching everything as we move on into the rest of this evening. But again, we will continue to watch everything moving forward, excuse me, especially with that broad rotation near the Clinton area, near the Dossett area, as well near Madisonville. There's multiple areas that we will continue to watch. But again, if you're under those severe thunderstorm warnings, we do recommend that you get to your safe place, especially with these winds gusting up as quickly as they are. Ken?
Yeah, I'm also taking a look. I'm looking a little further towards the south and east at one of our other cameras up in McLeod Mountain to see if I have a little bit better view back towards the Norris Lake area. We're still seeing that Boeing segment, the Boeing feature, kind of the backwards letter C. Very easy to see here. So that's going to be the leading edge of the very strong winds, probably 50-plus mile-per-hour winds. That's obviously what has prompted and has continued the severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be out of Campbell County now. We're talking about northeast Anderson, much of the western side of Union County, and I'd say at least southwestern Claiborne County at this point. And on a track here, if we take a look at that cell, we're talking about Alder 808, White Hollow 816, Wilson Gap 820, Dykes at 8:22, and it's moving at about 40 miles per hour. So just even the forward speed of that, you're talking about winds in that 35 to 40 mile per hour range. But I imagine they're going to be just a little stronger than that as that's going through. We'll go a little bit further to the south, and the one we were watching earlier right through here, still in Monroe County, moving a little slow, but getting a little closer to the Blount and eastern side of Monroe County border. This warning still goes until 8:50 or 8:45. And looks like the worst part of the storm would be close to Citico Beach. That's at about 8:27. Pumpkin Center, that's going to be a little further east there at 8:31, and Tallahassee at about 8:40. So we're getting closer to the higher elevations of the Smokies by that point. But we can just take a look inside. Still showing very broad rotation, but something still we've been watching. Margo, it's been pretty consistent, that area showing that weak rotation. The storm further south, clipping southern Monroe County, looks a lot weaker than it did earlier. That's the one, as you mentioned, kind of that unconfirmed report of a tornado near the Bradley Mall area. They're thinking it could have been wind damage, but regardless, it was wind damage, and that's why we say severe thunderstorm warnings issued. You need to make sure you're in your safe spot. But this is not severe that's making its way through the Knoxville area now, just some extremely heavy rainfall. We can probably take a look at our Blount Memorial Hospital camera as well. Let's see if we get anything from that. So you can see that heavy rain, we're looking due west, and it's kind of pushing in. This is the Maryville College campus. If you know the steeple that's there on one of the buildings, the iconic steeple there, that's what we're looking at. So the airport kind of off here to the right in the distance. We'll be interested to see what kind of wind gust we get at McGee-Tyson Airport coming up here in the next little bit. Earlier, when the storm initially, when we came on with the tornado warning in Cumberland County, I think we had a 58 or 59 mile per hour gust at the Crossville Airport with that cell as it came through. And that's kind of what's prompted these warnings, the potential for some damaging wind gust, but then also maybe a quick spin up. I would say at this point, Bledsoe, Ray County, you're probably free and clear from your severe threat the rest of the night. They did go ahead and officially drop Cumberland and Fentress, but I wouldn't be surprised, Margo. I'd say Scott, Morgan, even Roane County looking a lot better now than just a little bit earlier. You talked about that watch. The potential, that got extended till 10 o'clock. Is that what you told me earlier?
Correct.
Okay, so that got extended till 10 because obviously we're at the 8 o'clock hour, and that's when it was set to expire. So they went ahead and adjusted that and pushed it just a little bit further on out. Margo, are you seeing anything else that I might be missing across our area right now?
I mean, still watching that very broad rotation that's now very far east of the Madisonville area. It's kind of closer towards the Howard and 3 Points area, heading towards Chilhowie, close to Bestview and even Calderwood. And then next up would be closer to the Sevierville area, so heading on into Sevier County. And again, it's very broad, but that doesn't mean that you can't possibly see some debris, lighter in nature, flying about. That's why, again, we tell you to get in your safe place, even if it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. It can still kick up a bunch of stuff, but that's kind of the main thing that I'm keeping a very close eye on. And obviously, we are still watching very closely this severe thunderstorm warning that's going until 8:30. So we have about 20 more minutes of this severe thunderstorm warning storm in Union County. I would not be surprised if they extended it later on into the night, especially because this portion of the storm has been warned on the entire time. Again, this was the same storm that passed through Fentress in Cumberland County, and it did produce that possible tornado. Again, we have not gotten confirmation, but we're going to act like it did touch down, and we're still going to, go to our safe places, especially if you're in Union County. Again, next up would be the Morristown area, Sneedville, Dandridge. You guys, get started getting ready to go to your safe places, especially with this severe thunderstorm warning heading your way. Kind of taking a zoomed in look at some areas being affected by heavy rainfall kind of in the northern valley. This is again closer towards the La Follette area, the Alder area, as well as the Braden area heading towards Dykes and Irwin. Then also near kind of New Loyston, kind of closer as well towards Anderson County High School and Norris. Now again, we're watching this kind of tail end. This tail end back here I know doesn't pose a huge threat. It's also towards the end of that warning, but those tail ends kind of we got to watch for that base velocity, kind of not really showing much in terms of rotation, but definitely showing something near the Dawson area. That next area would be kind of the high school area, as well as the Clinton area, something to watch for, especially wind-wise. We have seen a couple power outages throughout the area, especially areas that have already been affected by these storms. So again, they may not be producing tornadoes, but they're definitely producing those damaging winds that potentially are bringing down those power lines that will knock out some power. So go ahead as well, as you're heading towards your safe place, go ahead, charge your devices. I know we are on Facebook Live, so hopefully you have your iPad, your iPhone, your computers plugged in while you're watching us as we track these storms out. But again, Ken, the main places I'm concerned with right now, rotation-wise, are definitely near the Madisonville area, as well as the Dawson area, heading towards Clinton and the high school area. What about you?
Yeah, heavy rain downtown Knoxville. Again, this is not a severe warned storm, but just buckets of rainfall here at the 8:12 time frame here as this is making its way through. Want to know a quick stop here as well. We'll go one more. This will be Blount Memorial Hospital. So we're looking west towards the Maryville College campus. Heavy rain moving there. I just checked the airport. Winds haven't kicked up there as of 8:06, so 7 minutes ago. They were still being reported northwest at 9. That's probably going to change. Sun is out now, Tellico Village at Tenasseee Cove. You're free and clear the rest of the night from your severe threat, but we're still keeping an eye on McLeod Mountain. Now we're looking back down, kind of behind that storm that's making its way right across Norris Lake. The Finger Lakes of Norris are off in the distance. You can't see it, but that's the direction we're looking back towards the south and east right now. I want to take a quick look at our power outages across the area. We've got 400 in Fentress, looks like 100 in Cumberland, and maybe getting some reports now as well, close to 1,000 in Campbell County, as these lines of very gusty winds continue to push through the area. So what I'll show you real quick, let's take a look. Again, I'm going to clear this out. And what we're going to do, no severe thunderstorm warnings for Knox County down through the Maryville area of Blount County, but southern Blount County especially, as this thunderstorm is coming out of, say, eastern sections of Monroe County, that's going to be our main one we'll be watching. That's till 8:45. And the one to the north, right over Norris right now. But let's take a look. The winds were a little stronger north of that system, kind of bowing out right through there, but we're also seeing some stronger winds near the Norris area, it looks like. This warning, Margot mentioned, that goes until 8:30, so 15 minutes from now. We'll see if they actually extend that because of the history we've seen of the gusty winds that this has possibly produced across the area. I'll zoom in just a little bit here. So Norris, looks like some strong winds starting to kick up just north of you, about to come through your area. Anderson County High School as well. The elementary school at Andersonville at 8:19. Gooseneck as well. That's going to be pretty close to 8:21, and Mill Creek at 8:24. Probably not much in the way of hail with that. We've not seen a ton with this storm to the north. It's mainly been in the form of wind. Areas to the south had some hail earlier, but that's been about it. So the warnings are dropping off. Extreme southern sections of Monroe County has that one severe thunderstorm warning. That's not going to impact a lot of our viewing areas. It's about to cross over into western North Carolina. If you know anybody there towards Unaka at 8:37, you want to give them a heads up into, that's North Carolina. That's going to be Cherokee County, North Carolina. The one we're keeping an eye on, I want to quickly look at Blount Memorial Hospital's camera and see if we're seeing that storm just approaching the downtown Maryville area. I think I have it on 2. Yeah, so we can see that back a little bit towards the south and west. I'll switch the camera around just a little bit here. But again, it's moving into Blount County. The gusty winds certainly about to make their way through your area now. And you're going to get some heavy rainfall. That's really been a huge problem with these storms as they've come through. It's just the buckets of rain we've been seeing produced by these storms coming through. So easily could be seeing ponding on the roads, maybe even some isolated flash flooding in some spots. So please, let's keep that in mind. If you're traveling, you know anyone that's traveling, and you're expecting them to get in, it may be a while before they do. Margot, I'm going to reset these cameras real quick. What do you see areas really across the region. The stuff coming through Knox County, again, we just want to point out is not severe.
Yeah, no, definitely want to point out it's not severe. And the National Weather Service up in Morristown actually decided that they're going to go ahead with a special weather statement. So again, a special weather statement is just a notch below that severe weather criteria. So it's still pretty strong storms, but it's a notch below. And it looks like they're going to extend this top line to be a special weather statement. And this includes North Knox County. Areas it also includes, let me just grab my watch out here real fast just so that way I read these correctly. This is for Anderson, Campbell, Claiborne, Granger, Hamlin, Hawkins, Jefferson, Knox, and Union counties. So it looks like they're going to let this severe thunderstorm warning expire. As far as I know, and then they're going to replace it with a special weather statement. So again, that's just a notch below that severe weather criteria, but we're still going to keep a very close eye, especially on this portion of the storm system moving on through, just because again, in the past, it has had the possibility of producing a tornado or at least very gusty winds about 59 miles per hour. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that, as well as keeping an eye on the Madisonville area, kind of closer to here. That's where we've been watching that very broad rotation. This storm was just north of that storm that was in Bradley County, Tennessee, that possibly produced that other tornado. Kind of taking a zoomed in look to that area, we're seeing a lot of heavy rain. You can kind of see closer towards the Howard, Citico Beach area, Tallahassee area, even the Chilhowie area, seeing very heavy rain. If we look towards our base velocity just to see that rotation is very broad again, like I mentioned, but it's just south of the Citico Beach area, south of the Pumpkin Center area, and south of the Tallahassee area. We're going to keep an eye on it, but as we move forward, this next stop that this rotation might be at is the Chilhowie area, moving towards the Happy Valley area and continuing to track east kind of towards the Cades Cove area, so moving towards Sevier County here in a few moments. But again, that's one of the main concerns I have personally right now. But taking a zoomed out look, still seeing very, very quick winds closer towards this other warm storm in the Union County area, the Anderson County area, and the North Knox County area. But again, this line is moving really quickly while we still are under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. Areas that this includes Roane County, Loudoun County, Morgan, Scott County, as well as probably West Knox County, Fentress and Cumberland counties. Pretty much you guys should be in the clear for the remainder of the night. Maybe a shower, but we aren't expecting anything severe. The rest of us still, we're dealing with some pretty heavy rain, pretty gusty winds. This is all heading towards Dandridge, Morristown, Sneedville, continuing to trek east, going to soon be in the Gatlinburg area as well. Make sure you're getting to your safe place. Even if it is a special weather statement, again, get to your safe place because we have seen those winds kicking up pretty quickly. So again, watching everything here, but they are going to do that special weather statement, Ken, I believe.
Margot, a couple of things we've been looking at, power outage potential. Thankfully, we've not seen a huge number yet. Looks like Campbell County just popping up to 900. That's the biggest we've seen. Fentress County 400 and Cumberland 100. So it's been with the line of storms moving through the area, but we've seen some much higher numbers than this. This is bad enough. We don't want people without power, but I think it could have been a little bit worse with some of the way these signatures have been looking on radar with the strong wind potential. Still heavy rain downtown Knoxville. This is from our Embassy Suites Hotel, and this is a very heavy rainfall making its way into Blunt Memorial Hospital camera in Maryville. That's the Maryville College campus here over towards the center of the screen. Very dark clouds. I actually think the camera got struck by lightning a little bit ago. It reset itself, so there is definitely, highly charged atmosphere in place. We saw rain earlier, Tellico Village. It's back after some sun, and you can barely see the silos there off in the water as, again, these waves of rain are pushing through. And this is McLeod Mountain. Winds are very gusty, as you can see with the trees, but we're looking back now to the backside of the thunderstorms that are making their way through Union County now as we speak. So it's with this cell here. I'll go a little bit further north. So our camera's up in this direction, and we're looking back into that storm as it's moving away from Campbell County. Still going to be some gusty winds. We'll see if they extend this Margot mentioned that they're probably just going to expand this into a special weather statement. I'll show you that. That's this brown, this light brown or tan box. So that's what's going to replace this. They're thinking basically the winds aren't quite to severe limits, but still could be 30, 40, maybe up to 50 miles per hour. So they're going to most likely let this expire, which goes here at 8:30 as that pushes off, pretty quickly out of Campbell County now. So I would say even, yes, you still have some rain, maybe some rumbles, but the severe threat is over with for Scott, Fentress, Morgan, Cumberland, all the way down through Roane County, Ray, Meigs, McMinn, you're okay. Monroe, not quite yet. Eastern Monroe, and then also Blount County we need to keep an eye on as this line is making its way through. That's not severe. Knoxville, down Alcoa Highway to the airport, not severe. In fact, I just checked the winds at the airport. The strongest gusts I've seen so far, thankfully, only at 12 miles per hour, so that's good. It hasn't been overly strong. It's just very heavy rainfall that we're seeing. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably stay till the 8:30 time frame and make sure they go ahead and expire this warning on time, and significant weather advisory. We'll just let that crawl continue to go at the bottom of the screen. But let's just look quickly inside here at some of the winds. It definitely looks a little bit less ominous than what it did earlier. I'd still say, though, some pretty gusty winds east side of Anderson County, about to move into southwest Union County. So there's Paulette Elementary, there's Maynardville, good old Lickskillet up there, and right along the base lakes there of Norris. So that area right through there could certainly be where our strongest wind potential would be. This warning, again, goes until 8:30. I'll try to put a track on the one near Norris. We're talking about the elementary school now, Andersonville 828, the elementary, the same time frame there as that's moving east. Also, we're talking about, the skit just went away. So let's go back out just a little bit here. I want to make sure we get a track on this. So the area we need to watch would be just on the Anderson-Union County border. And we're talking about Rydnor right about now, Beulah 828, Big Ridge 829, I would assume the state park as well. So if you know anybody camping, make sure they're safe. Paulette 830, the elementary the same, and Raccoon Valley at about 834. Margot, anything that you're seeing as well across the area, anything else of attention, or does it look like the worst of it may be starting to wind down just a little bit, at least north of Knoxville?
I believe the worst of it, Ken, is starting to wind down, definitely. Even in the Southern Valley, looks like we just got an update. I can see from my computer back here, but we are still going to watch this broad rotation right here that's moving towards the Calderwood area and Tapoco area. I hope I pronounced that. Tapoco. Thank you, Ken. Area right there. Now, it looks like they have made this polygon actually smaller, and this severe thunderstorm warning goes until about 8:45, and this again is going towards Blount County. Right now, that kind of rotation is in Monroe County, but again, that's just south of the Calderwood area. Let's kind of look at the skit right here just to see where this storm is heading to. So next, Reimers Ferry around 8:48, and then Fairfax around 8:52. Now again, this is broad rotation, so this is not indicating a tornado, but we're going to keep a very close eye on it. Definitely seeing some pretty gusty winds within this storm near the Calderwood area, and definitely still seeing heavy rain. Again, while the wind threat may be dying down for a lot of these areas, that doesn't mean that all of our threats just magically go away. Again, a lot of the areas, especially in the Southern Valley and kind of in the Sevier and Blount County areas, have already seen a lot of rain from earlier this afternoon, and that rain mowed over. We saw, I think they reported near Tellico Plains about 1.5 inches over the past 3 hours at 4 o'clock, and now you can tell Tellico Plains has been run over yet again with those heavier showers. So we can expect to see some areas who again have been run over multiple times with these heavier showers to possibly see some localized flooding. So make sure you're paying attention kind of to the roadways, especially if you're kind of in the Roane County, Loudoun County area, all the areas that are kind of in the clear now. I know some of you may be heading home from dinner, or you're heading home from work, or just, heading out somewhere. Be very careful, especially if you've seen a lot of rain. Again, localized flooding is one of the main concerns with today. But right now we still have that warned storm in Union County until 8:30. So we have about 4 more minutes, and then it's going to turn into that special weather statement. And then the last remaining warning should be until 8:45, and that's moving on into Blount County. But I'm going to throw it back to Ken, who looks to be just, analyzing the rest of these storms so that way you know what's coming for your areas. Ken?
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on Jefferson County as well. Again, this is that line that's made its way through Knox and Blount County. Not severe, but certainly some heavy rainfall that's been moving through. But I will say, there could be some gusty winds with this one headed towards Jefferson City. The middle school area looks like it's going to be pretty close to there at 8:40. The elementary the same time. Patriot Academy at 8:42 and Oakland at about 8:43. It's moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So this one as well, just south of Douglas Lake near Dandridge, near Douglas Estates, 8:44, Marble Spring, 8:50, and Swansylvania about 8:51. Again, borderline, it's mainly just very heavy rainfall. Could be some brief gusty winds with those, but those are not warned at this time. A couple more minutes before the warning expires, as Margot mentioned, up here into Union County. But we do want to just kind of keep an eye on this because still some gusty winds, southern sections of Union County, right on the Anderson-Union-Knox borders. We're talking about Paulette community. If you know where that is, that's very close to the elementary school. So this warning, again, just goes for a couple more minutes. I'd say the winds have definitely come down compared to where they were, but that's probably still 40, maybe getting close to 45 mile per hour winds. That could easily knock down a tree or cause some power issues. So just keep that in mind. Let's go back a little further down to the south. Just some very broad rotation still with a couple of these. That one's just about to make its way out of Monroe, southern Blount County. That'll work its way right across the border really into North Carolina. And just very, very little, if anything, rotation there. So I think we're really starting to wind our way down, which is great to see across the area. We'll wait a couple more minutes for this warning to go. Yes, Margot?
Definitely got to keep an eye out in the Southern Valley, just south of Tellico Plains. They just issued a tornado warning. It's just for Cherokee County, North Carolina, but definitely want to watch out for debris in that area. I'm sure there were gusty winds.
Yeah, that's thankfully that's out of our viewing area, but that is that same cell we talked about that made its way through Bradley County earlier, north of Chattanooga, that could have produced a tornado earlier. But again, that is not quite in our viewing area, thankfully. But Margot mentioned if you know anybody right on the other side of the border into North Carolina, there's Violet, Unaka, Boiling Springs area, Robbinsville up through here. So we are talking about Cherokee County, North Carolina. By the way, this is the border right here between Monroe. That's Monroe and that's Cherokee. So that's North Carolina, that's Tennessee. So out of our responsibility of coverage, viewership-wise, but if you know anybody that lives over there, make sure that they're taking this seriously as well. There could be a tornado with that. Had a history of it, and there was some rotation with it earlier. It does look like it right through there near Violet. So again, that's not in our viewing area, but it's along that same line that did produce that potential tornado in Bradley County near the Chattanooga area. But again, latest updates for you. This will go away here in the next minute. It'll be replaced by that special weather statement, which is the brown outline as you see here. That's just going to be for some gusty winds, maybe 30, 40 miles per hour. Heavy rain will be a concern as well. I'd say downtown Knoxville westward, you're clear from your severe threat, as is Loudoun, Roane, Morgan, Scott, Fentress, Cumberland. You're looking good. McMinn County, almost Monroe County, almost a little bit longer. But anywhere Knoxville westward, we'll say for the most part, done with a severe threat for the rest of the evening. Still could be some rain, still could be some gusty winds in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. So you see that has dropped now. So it's been replaced by this light tan color, maybe a little hard to see, but this polygon drawn right through here. That's the special weather statement, and that's going to go until 9:15. The potential, again, mainly of just winds 30, 40 miles per hour. Doubt we even have any hail with it. We've not seen any hail with that system as it's come through. Even the hail signatures south have been much weaker than what they looked like earlier. Still seeing maybe just very broad rotation. We've been seeing this really much of the evening right through there near Montvale Elementary School. So the colors warm that way, cool this way. So that would be some counterclockwise rotation. Worth watching, but again, it's nothing that's really jumped out and said, hey, that is a tight couplet, a tight circulation producing a tornado. it's mainly just been winds and heavy rainfall across the area, so that's been good. So I think what we're going to end up doing here, we will go ahead and end, for now, our coverage. I think we're okay across the area. We'll just keep an eye a little further to the east in case they issue any other warnings, areas in severe, over into Greene County, Cott County, maybe a little further north up towards the Tri-Cities into Southwest Virginia. No indication that that's going to be the case, but something we'll keep an eye on. I'll quickly just show you again the watch area that we had, the severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until 10 o'clock now. That does include Knox County, but we're almost done with our threat. And I'd say very soon they'll start to trim these counties. So areas east, Granger County, north, Claiborne, Hancock, and even some areas around here, Hamblin, Jefferson, I'd even say severe Blunt. We'll keep an eye on it. Still a possibility. Could be some severe storms the next little bit, but really looks to be winding down. And I'd say by 10:30, severe threat over for everybody, and we're talking about limited rain chances as we go through the rest of the night. So again, the active warning we still have left for just a little bit longer, but that cell is almost out and over into North Carolina. That's going to be extreme southern Blount County, goes until 8:45. And I'll put just a quick track on that for you. All that's left is the Cades Cove area at 8:56, and that's about it. So coming up here before the top of the hour, I know cell signal is really tough there in Cades Cove, but if you know somebody that's there, they should be out by now since we're close to dark time. That would be really our biggest threat. So we'll keep an eye on the rest of these through the evening, but at this point, we're going to go ahead and end our stream for now, and hopefully we're done with, other than just a random shower or storm over the next couple of hours, the severe threat really looks to be winding down across the area. But as always, we'll be on air online as needed. You can always check our free weather app like we've been on now, and also at WATE.com for the latest. Thanks for joining us.